Hello everybody and welcome to Project X. Perhaps you've been wondering, what exactly is Project X all about? Well, Tim and I are here to tell you exactly what's going to go down in this case study. That's basically what it is, a case study. We're going to take some products, hopefully from zero to hero. We're going to take you through every step of the game, all right? From finding that product opportunity, how to find ideas, how to source the product, how to find suppliers, how to order it, how to ship it to Amazon, how to create your first listing, how to optimize that listing, how to launch the product, and then how to maintain that product with an Amazon business. Now, Tim, for what level of sellers is this going to be for?
Yeah, this is specifically designed for anybody. This is really great information for very beginning sellers. Maybe you haven't ever sold a product online, all the way to extremely advanced sellers, because the stuff that we're doing is so cutting edge, it can usually be used for anybody.
Now, we're going to walk through every step of the way. We're not just going to say, okay, yeah, you need to do this, you need to do that, but how deep are we going to go?
We're going to go deep, and the reason we're going to go deep is because you need to see every single step. So we've specifically tailored this entire project to walk you through those steps.
We're not just going to do it with one product. We're going to show you this process through multiple products. Now, my name is Bradley Sutton. I'm the Director of Training and Customer Success here at Helium 10. And this gentleman to my left is
Tim Jordan from the Private Label Legion.
Now, Tim has extensive expertise. Ooh, that's a fancy word. Extensive expertise in a lot of different fields that maybe I don't have expertise in, such as product sourcing and how to import things from China, and a really, really unique method of how to do product research. That's why I invited him to be a part of this Project X. Now, the question is, why did we decide to do Project X, Tim?
Yeah, because there has never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. Think all the way back, century after century after century, where business was all done the same way. And just in the last decade or so, has it really become possible for anybody, anywhere, to sell to anybody, anywhere with a cell phone or a laptop computer. So right now, if you've ever thought about being an entrepreneur, this is the best time that history has ever given us to do that. So we want to make sure that if you want to take part of this entrepreneurial journey and get into e-commerce, that you have as much success as possible. So really the why of why we're doing this is to help you succeed. And we want to show you how to do that.
And a while back, I don't know if you guys listened to the Serious Sellers podcast, but I had Tim Jordan on and we did an episode about kind of things that were bothering us about the space in Amazon. And that's another reason why we decided to do Project X, because there's a lot of misinformation and frankly, a lot of bad information. Maybe some of these were great when they were launched, but it's 2-3 years old. And if you follow those methodologies, you might be on the wrong path. So we wanted to make something that was completely up to date and relevant for this year to help you with your business.
Yeah, and another problem out there is information that's driven by probably bad motives. These are the hype guys. These are the guys that are trying to sell you on a dream without actually being able to back it up. And there's a lot of information that's put out there for that reason. So instead of just, not knowing what information out there is relevant, we're not selling you a course. We're not selling you a product. We're not doing anything in this case study except giving you information, and it's all for free. So we don't have any ulterior motives here, which means we can be brutally honest. We can show you that this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. We're going to potentially select several products that we're going to try, and some of them probably won't be good, which is reality. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a click a button and it's done for you. This is not buy my course and you can become a millionaire next month. That's not what this is about. We want to be realistic, and we're going to show you how we do that.
And one thing we want to really hone in on is that there is no just one exact blueprint that one should follow when doing Amazon. There's different methods that work for different people, different categories, different products, etc. We're going to try and do that as much as possible by showing you different methods to getting success on Amazon.
Yeah, and one thing that's important to think about is on these different methods, there are some methods that are great for beginners and some that are great for advanced sellers. There's some that are great for people with very little money to invest or very little experience. There's some methods that work great for people with a lot of money to invest. What we're going to do specifically is focus on the very kind of reduced risk model, right? So that's why we're going to get heavily into testing that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about not needing a ton of money to invest. So we just want to say right now that there are lots of ways of doing things. We are not saying that this is the only way, But throughout this case study in Project X, we're going to try to take a really, really wide sampling of several ways that we have found to be very successful that usually don't require a huge amount of investment, usually don't require a huge amount of experience, and can pretty much be tackled by anybody.
So let's talk a little bit first about the F word, fear. That's the reason that's holding a lot of people back from starting on Amazon. Tim, you have hundreds of students. I'm sure you've seen that as well, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of different fears that people have, and all of these are little things that can be overcome, and that's part of the purpose of this case study, is to help you overcome those fears. One of the primary ones that I see is people are scared to death that they're going to lose money. Now, this is a valid fear because, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme like we talked about. It's a business, and there's always some sort of, kind of risk in business, right? So what we want to do with this case study is help eliminate the financial risk and the financial investment, of huge sums of money so that we can help eliminate that fear. I think that one of the most common fears that I see is that people don't trust themselves. And unfortunately, we're all human. And what I have learned through, close to a decade now of this entrepreneurial life is that we oftentimes hold ourselves back more than any other outside factor. And it's because, not that we maliciously don't trust ourselves. It's not that we don't have confidence, but like I said, it's because we're human. One thing that I've found about entrepreneurs is entrepreneurs frequently equate their personal success with their business success, right? So what that means is, in my situation, I've had tons of people that have told me, hey, Tim, you can't do this. I've had people very close to me say, hey, Tim, you can't own your own business. You're not smart enough to be an entrepreneur. You're going to, put your family at risk. You shouldn't do this. So I've had these outside forces telling me what we naturally oftentimes feel inside, which is bad. It's terrible. It's that we, create this scenario in our brains where we don't think we're good enough to do this. So we want to help eliminate that fear by walking you through this and showing you that you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be, particular genius in any one scenario. There's so many resources out there and so many different ways of making this work that nearly anybody can do this.
A lot of people, they have the fear of being all alone. I don't have a community behind me. I don't want to do this by myself. One of the most common fears I see is man, I think maybe there's no more opportunity left on Amazon. There's no more products to sell on Amazon. Everything that could be sold is already on there. So that's a little bit about the F word. What about the S word? Solutions, all right? What kind of problems are we going to be solving with this case study?
Yeah, some of the solutions that we're going to be bringing to you is eliminating that misconception that this is hard. Now, is this hard work? Absolutely, it's a business. We have to hustle, we have to grind, sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes. But the actual steps themselves are not hard. Somebody once told me that this business is complex, but it's not complicated. So complex means there's a lot of steps, but none of those individual steps are particularly complicated. And we're going to show you that through this case study.
Something that we want to solve too is a problem that a lot of people have is they have no idea where to start. They're I want to sell on Amazon, but where do I begin? Where do I jump in at? And then after that, what's the process I follow? They need a step-by-step guide to guide them through this whole Amazon journey.
Yeah, and one of the ones that I see is really important now because this isn't brand new, this idea of selling Amazon. This has been around for a while. And I see so many people that could have been or could still be very successful sellers, but they might have had a failure early on, right? And there are so many people that think this whole concept of private label, that's a new term that we'll explain in a minute. They think that private label doesn't work because maybe they tried a methodology or a product in the past and they failed, or they've seen friends that have not done very well. They've seen things in the community, and that is a valid concern. But what we're helping solve in this case study is to show you that we're not using the same methods and tactics that people may have failed with before. We're not using old information. This is brand new. So if you've been discouraged, if you've tried this, if you've seen other people fail, take heart knowing that what we're going to show you still absolutely works today. It may be very different from what you've seen in the past, but there's no reason to feel ashamed if you've had some failures in the past. And there's definitely no reason to be discouraged if you've run into those hurdles in the past either.
All right, so another question that is asked is, why should I even sell on Amazon? Maybe you landed on this YouTube video by accident. You're like, okay, what is this Amazon thing? Why is it important? Well, my opinion is that there are very few business models out there where you can just take a product or take an idea and within just a couple of months, start a pretty successful business. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's so many different ways to make money and sell things online through, e-commerce. But what's extremely unique about Amazon is it helps solve a problem that a lot of these other platforms and methods have, which is traffic. Now, let me explain what that means. If I have a website and it's a standalone website that sells something, a gadget, I have to be responsible for making sure people find that website. And that can be extremely complicated, especially with a startup business. What's unique and what's really special about Amazon and why it's my favorite startup platform is because Amazon has mountains of traffic. Amazon has hundreds of millions of users. Every day they have tens of millions of views where people are on their smartphones or on their laptops looking for something because they want to buy. And Amazon has all of those customers consolidated and compiled for us, where essentially, and I'm oversimplifying it a bit, but we throw a product up there and now people can find it because traffic's already there. Another great thing that I love about Amazon is that we don't have to have a warehouse and we don't have to have a forklift and logistics. Why is that, Bradley?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about if you're going to start your own product, like, 10, 20, 30 years ago, you would have to have a warehouse. You would have to, touch all the products. You've got to ship it yourself. You could literally do a business on Amazon from your garage, from your basement, from your parents' basement, and never even having touched one of your products, because Amazon can take care of everything. They handle the storage, the warehousing of it. They can handle the shipping. Not only do they handle the shipping, but they offer shipping services that are unparalleled today. I mean, 1-day shipping, 2-day shipping, same-day shipping, 2-hour shipping in some locations. I mean, before 20, 30 years ago, there was nothing like this that was even thought about.
Yeah, and Amazon takes care of a lot of the other problems with their embedded features like pay-per-click. So they have an entire easy-to-use system where we can run ads for our products. They have special programs like Launchpad, and they have daily deals, built-in websites and plugins and pages where we can literally take care of a huge multitude of what would be considered complex marketing, all within the Amazon system. So even if nobody's aware of our product, we can use their platform to advertise to their audience. It's really special.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about different types of selling on Amazon. There's, for example, retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is, let's say I'm going to go to my local Walmart. I see something on discount. I'm going to go buy up their inventory and then throw it up on Amazon because I know I can sell it for a profit. There's also online arbitrage. Very similar thing, except I'm actually buying things online and then again sending it to Amazon and reselling it. There's also Merch by Amazon, which is a print-on-demand service done by Amazon where you just upload a logo and they print it on demand when somebody orders that shirt. Last one, there's also wholesale. Wholesale is maybe I have a wholesale account with like Nike or an Adidas, all right? And I buy products at a discount from them and then resell it on Amazon. But the one that we're going to be talking about is private label. What exactly does private label mean?
Now, private label can mean a lot of different things, and I hear a lot of misconceptions. I remember years ago, I was out at a conference for Amazon sellers, and somebody at this table said, "What is private label?" And someone else said, "Well, that's easy. That's when you buy something and, it has a blank box and you put a label on it and you sell it." And I wanted to crawl across the table and slap this guy because, technically he's right, but it's so much bigger than that. Private label is using a platform like Amazon where people can flip products, like you said, with arbitrage, being a third-party seller. But it's also a place where we can launch our own brands, we can create unique products, and private label is a little bit of all of that. It's a little combination of, something that we can touch and physically own ourselves, something that we can create, design ourselves, something that we can put our own personal, design touches or our own inspiration to. It's something that we can attach a brand to, which is very important in the long-term, scale and sellability of our business. So private label is this really, really cool, kind of easy to get into business model that is personally owned by you. And private label is, like you said, exactly what we're going to focus on for this case study, because we honestly believe that Amazon private label right now is the best startup or advanced e-com platform that you can be selling on.
Yeah, so what exactly makes a good private label product? There's a lot of misconceptions out there, like it's not a good private label product or it's not an opportunity unless you can see that plenty of sellers are selling thousands of units. They're selling $1 million, all right? That is not what makes a good private label opportunity, all right? What makes a good opportunity is if there's something that has good demand, all right? Now, demand is very subjective. We're going to go into what constitutes good demand, but either low competition, low number of competitors, or poor performing competition. Basically, you're looking for opportunities where there's a lot of people searching for something, but the people who are satisfying that need or whatever they're searching for are underperforming, and we're going to show you how to find opportunities like that. What else can signify what a good opportunity might be?
I think that a good opportunity is also defined when we're talking about private label products by minimal risk. And we're going to talk a lot about risk management. And we're going to do that in a lot of different ways throughout this case study. It's going to be really eye-opening. One of the ways that we can minimize risk is by making sure that people are actually looking for a product that we want to sell. And we're going to show you exactly how we do that through a few different ways. But basically, it boils down to we need to make sure that people are actually searching for this thing. So there are tools now, there's amazing ways and techniques that we can figure that out. So we're minimizing risk by knowing that people want these products, but also we're minimizing risk personally because we're going to show you how to test that. We're going to show you how to test if this product idea really does work, if it really is in demand, if it's really low competition. And being able to test that and being able to prove this high demand, low competition definitely helps make it a good private label product. Another thing that we need to talk about is what a good private label product is not, and that word is saturated. Can you explain what a saturated product is and how we want to stay away from those?
Yeah, we talked earlier about the fears and misconceptions, and that was one of the biggest fears. People think that all of Amazon is too saturated. That means, there's already too many sellers all selling the same thing. There's no space for a new guy or gal to come in with a new product, all right? Now, yes, that part of that is true. There are certain categories that can be considered saturated. For example, iPhone XR phone case. You type that into Amazon, there's probably going to be about a million different, literally a million products that could come up that have to do with the iPhone XR case. So those are the kind of things that you would want to stay away from. But we're going to show you methods on how to find other different products and other categories that are not saturated on Amazon yet.
Yeah, and when we can put all of this together, when we can put together the concept of high demand with low competition, that's not saturated, that's easy to launch, right? Not a huge amount of risk. I think when you put all of those in a box, you defined what a good private label product is, and that's what we're going to show you how to find.
All right, now let's get some things straight right here. I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Now, the first thing, again, we are going over different ways to succeed because there is no one right or one wrong way. There are many ways to get to where you want to go on Amazon. And even though we're going over multiple ways, these still are not the only ways to succeed on Amazon.
Yeah, and there's no guarantees, right? Not every product that we try to launch is going to be successful. That's why we're going to do multiple here. And, there are other people that are doing very well in their Amazon businesses that have taken different approaches than we're going to show you. We're not saying those are wrong. So yeah, this is just kind of a disclaimer. There's a lot of different right ways of doing this. The specific model that we're going to show you, we feel is extremely easy to get started. It also has some very advanced capabilities for existing sellers. So again, this is just one. Also, are we black hat, or what does that term even mean? Let's explain that a little bit.
Normally, people who see my videos, I've done a lot here on Helium 10, so I'm always actually wearing a black hat that has a Helium 10 logo. But when we say black hat in the Amazon world, those are considered like kind of illegal tactics to use, or cheating, or gaming the system. We're not going to show you guys any of that stuff. It's all white hat or no hat in this case.
So it's super important to remember that although we aren't using these black hat techniques and tactics and tricks, everything that we're going to show you is still cutting edge. There's such a misconception that the only way to win in this game now is by cheating or being malicious or doing something that's against like Amazon or even, some of the advertising sites' terms of service. That's not what we're talking about. But we're still going to show you some really, really cutting edge ways that will keep you from having to use those black hat techniques to succeed. So very new information coming along. So one of the biggest challenges that we had in this case study planning phase was trying to figure out schedule. See, we didn't want to wait 12 months and trickle out information and make you wait till the end. We wanted to go ahead and compile this and show you this kind of start to end process as quickly as possible.
It's been said that the only thing consistent in Amazon is change, and that's true. Things change on a daily, weekly, monthly basis on Amazon, whether it's rules or their terms of service or how bullet points look or different things like that. So make sure to stay up to date with our updates that we're going to be providing in this series.
Yep.
Now, one word that we've been using a lot so far in this episode is success, all right? Now, this is a very hot topic. One thing we haven't talked about is, what does success mean? There are people out there who might try and teach you that unless you're driving a super fancy Italian sports car, Lamborghini, Ferrari, you're not successful. Unless you hit 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, you're not successful. When we talk about the word success for Project X, what's our definition?
So the way that we're defining success with this case study, and really selling on Amazon in general, is just finding a profitable product that you can consistently sell. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can do that. And there's a lot of people that kind of define success differently. So I know a lot of people in this industry that would love to sell enough to make, $300 extra a month. So if they made $300 profit a month fairly easily and made an extra car payment or something, that's success for them. There's a lot of people that want to completely replace their maybe 9-to-5 corporate, income. And if they can work from home and spend more time with their wives or kids or families or husbands or whatever, that's success for them. There are other people that want to start from zero and become, multimillionaires with a huge business operation. All of those definitions are success. So the only way that we can show you to do that is to find a potentially, high demand, low competition product that is profitable, and then you can figure out how many of those you want to launch. It may be one product, you may do that across 10 or 15 products, you may build that into giant brands. But the important thing to remember here is that if you don't become, a 7-figure seller in 6 months, it doesn't mean you failed. If it takes you longer than a lot of other people to find your first successful product, it doesn't mean you failed, right? Success here is learning these methods, actually applying these methods, taking action, and then becoming profitable. Whatever that number value is doesn't really matter. We just have to find that product and be profitable. And that's how we're going to define success in this project.
And as we have talked about, we're going to take you through the entire process. The first few episodes, we're going deep into exactly how to find that idea, how to find that keyword, how to find that first product. We're taking you through the other steps. Now, we're ending this case study with the launch. We're not going to expand this out like another 6 months and see how many $1 million we made over the time or something. We're stopping it right at the launch. So basically from the ideation stage all the way to product launch, we're actually going to show you step by step. You can look over our shoulder exactly how we do this.
Yeah, and that's important for a lot of reasons. One is we are literally showing you the products that we're going to find, right? So it would be a little unfair for us to go 12 months from now and try to use this as an example of the perfect product, because unfortunately there's going to be hundreds of people now competing with us, right? So we don't want to set expectations and say, hey, the end of this case study, we will have sold, millions of dollars of this product. It's probably not going to happen just because we're making this very public. But at the end of the case study, we will have been able to show you every single step, like Bradley said, from finding this product ideas to validating it to testing it. And we're going to prove to you through this case study that we can find those products, people will buy them, and more importantly, that the per unit sale is profitable. And that, again, is one of the parameters for success. And we're actually going to show you how we do that. Yeah, so in this episode, we've pretty much covered what we're going to cover in this case study. So we've kind of given you a glimpse into what we're going to be covering. We've also talked about the concept that Amazon is still a great place to start a business, to either launch your first product or to continue scaling your business with more products. We've kind of done some level setting, right? Like managed some expectations as far as what we're going to cover, what we're not going to cover. We've kind of talked about some of the misconceptions in the industry out there, which is really, really important, and actually how we're going to help you kind of eliminate some risk and some problems.
All right, so we covered a lot of information here in episode 1, but we haven't even started yet. We haven't even started this journey. Episode 2 is going to do that. So what kind of things are we going to talk about in episode 2?
Yeah, episode 2, we're going to focus on the magical realm of keywords. We're going to talk about how we find product ideas, which turn into keywords. We're going to talk about looking on Amazon, and this is a little bit crazy, but looking off of Amazon to find potential keyword and product ideas. We're going to talk about how we kind of capture those and begin this initial validation stage.
And that's already, you're going to see how unique this case study is, because usually what happens is they talk about the first stage being product research, and that's fine. That's one method. Usually we don't start with keywords. So not only are we going to talk about finding keywords on Amazon, we're not only going to be talking about finding keywords on other websites or other places online, we're going to even show you how to find keywords offline in real life. Say what? We're going to show you how to do that. So for every episode, we're going to have a detailed written blog that recaps that episode. So for example, if you would like to see the written recap of this episode, go to helium10.com/X1. That's helium10.com/X1. So again, my name is Bradley Sutton from Helium 10, and this is
Tim Jordan from Private Label Legion.
Welcome to Project X.